For decades, we've been obsessed with this idea of humanoid robots, right? Machines built to look just like us, walking around with us. But it turns out, making them look like us is one thing. The real mind-bending challenge is making them feel like us. So let's get into the quest for a truly humane humanoid. And that brings us to this big puzzle. I mean, you've seen the videos. They can walk, they can talk, they can even do jobs. So why do they still feel so robotic? So much like machines. There's this massive disconnect, right? Between how they look and how they feel. And closing that gap, that's pretty much the holy grail of robotics right now.
Okay, so how do we even begin to tackle something like that? Well, the very first step is a big one. Realizing this is way more than just an engineering problem. We have to look past the nuts and bolts and get into something much, much deeper.
And there's actually a name for this. Researchers call it the humanoid humanity dilemma. It's basically the core challenge of giving these human-looking robots, well, genuine natural humanness. Because let's be real, it's one thing to look like a person, but it's another thing entirely to be, well, humane. That's the real goal. So you can't just dive into a problem that huge without a plan, right? Of course not. Researchers have actually laid out a kind of roadmap. It's a guide that takes us all the way from simple mechanics to the super complex stuff like consciousness. And here it is. This roadmap basically lays out the whole journey, step by step. You can see it starts with the physical stuff, the body, the human structures like arms and legs. Then it moves up to simulating senses and behaviors, but the final destination, the peak of the mountain, is all about those really abstract ideas, like humanity and intelligence. It's kind of like a path from hardware to heart. Let's break that journey down into 3 big stages to make it super clear. Stage 1 is all about the body, just getting the physical structure right, head, torso, limbs. Stage 2 is the actions, making the robot do what we do, like see, move, and talk. But then there's stage 3, and this is the really tough one, the essence. This is where we try to capture all that stuff you can't build with gears and wires. Empathy, creativity, maybe even consciousness. So you might be wondering, how in the world do we make that incredible leap from just simulating actions to actually capturing the essence? Well, it comes down to one technology that has absolutely changed the game. You guessed it, artificial intelligence. And this slide really shows you just how massive that shift has been. On one side, you've got the old school AI robots. Think pre-programmed, role-based, kind of clunky. They could only handle one thing at a time, like just vision or just text. But now, look at the other side. With generative AI, we have humanoids that can learn and adapt on the fly. They can have real-time conversations, and this is the big one, they have multimodal understanding. That means they can process vision, language, and action all at once, just like we do. When we see a smile and hear a friendly voice at the same time, Gen AI lets robots do that too. And this isn't just a small step forward. The key takeaway from the research is that things like generative AI and large language models haven't just improved the field, they have, and I'm quoting here, substantially transformed it. We're talking about a total paradigm shift. It's opened doors to things that seriously felt like sci-fi just a handful of years ago. Okay, so we've got these incredible new AI tools. The next logical question is, what's the blueprint? What does it actually take to build a robot that isn't just smart, but truly humane, something we can actually trust and relate to? And that brings us to the ultimate goal, the humane humanoid. What is that exactly? It's a robot that's defined less by the tasks it performs and more by the qualities it embodies. We're talking about things like trust, responsibility, empathy, ethics, the good stuff. These are the qualities that could take a machine from being just a tool to being, well, a genuine partner. Here's a really simple way to think about it. You've got function versus quality. The functional part is just what the robot does. Can it grasp an object? Can it walk across a room? Simple. But the non-functional part, the quality part, is how it does it. Does it grasp the object safely? Does it walk reliably? And the ultimate goal, the thing we're really aiming for, is a robot that does things empathetically. Now that is the leap from a simple machine to something much, much more. And listen, this isn't just some abstract theory. This whole blueprint is actually pushing us towards the next big frontier. And believe me, it's going to reshape our future with humanoids in some ways that are, frankly, pretty mind-bending. Okay, get this. One of these new frontiers is called mind to action. So imagine you say to a robot, hey, the plant looks a little thirsty. An old robot would just short circuit. It wouldn't get it. But a mind-to-action robot, it understands your intent. It knows you mean the plant needs water, and it translates that idea directly into the action of watering the plant. See the difference? It's not just following a command, it's understanding a need. And if that's not wild enough for you, the lines get even blurrier with something called virtual real symbiosis. The idea here is that a physical, real-world humanoid has a perfect digital twin living in a virtual space. So anything one of them does or learns could be instantly mirrored by the other. You'd have this seamless bridge between our physical and our digital worlds. Crazy, right? So all of this, it leads us to one last really big question. This whole quest to build a humane robot, it kind of forces us to figure out what humane even means in the first place. In trying to build humanity into a machine, we might actually end up learning more about ourselves than ever before. So think about this. If we actually pull it off, if we build a truly humane robot, what will that creation end up teaching us about its creator?